See electric thrills. Two hearts racing, chasing the chills. Hey June bug, remember those nights dancing under streetlights felt so right. You blew my mind, yeah, you stole my soul. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. June bug cake. Give me those June bug shake. Fireflies under Tennessee skies. Rebel hearts beating in the summer nights. This
All right, let's see what happened here. I'm gonna put this down because there we go. I'm gonna cut the music because they got it all copyrighted. I'm gonna leave mine. So 7 minutes until the event launches. They actually pushed it back. No, they pushed it forward to 8:30. It was supposed to be launched at 9 o'clock, and they pushed it forward to 8:30. So in about 6 minutes, we are looking to see what Insta360 is about to launch. Insta360 is again in the spotlight, in the news. They just launched the anti-gravity drone with it. I'm sorry, Insta360 launched the camera that was integrated in the anti-gravity drone, which is incredible. So they just had a product launch, which was a drone, and now they're about to release another product. And what it looks like is they are doing a live event. Yesterday we had the Google Pixel live event from New York City. And now these guys are about to do also it looks like they're going to do a live event. So the question is, because they're starting to do this, it looks like it's becoming a pattern. They're bringing back the live events. My question is, will DJI also do a live event? Because that's what we're missing. We're missing live events, live launch events. DJI hasn't done a live event since 2018, I think. And that was the last one. So this is massive what Insta360 is doing. If what I'm thinking is what they're about to do is a live event, because we haven't seen that in a while. So we're gonna see, they're gonna launch a new camera, I'm guessing, from the image. It didn't look too clear. There's a small little camera they have right now, and they put it inside the coconut. So this is what we're doing. This is what the content creators are doing. They're putting cameras inside coconuts. All right, 2 minutes until the launch of the event. Amazing cinematic imagery right here, footage. Never before seen. The inside of a coconut. Incredible. Incredible footage. I mean, it is very interesting to watch. He's trying to take the camera, I think. Well, look at that. He cleaned out all the... Incredible cinematic view right here, everyone. All right, here we go. Let's get to the real business here.
Welcome to this very special Insta360 launch event. I am your host, Jesse Driftwood. You might know me from my YouTube channel. And with me today is content creator Kate Max. She hosts the wonderful running interview show and the podcast Post Run High. Kate, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I am so excited to be here today.
Over the last few years, Insta360 has been iterating and improving on their Go series of cameras as they really dial in what makes them so special. So they've been adding features and adjusting the form factor in order to address what it is that their users most want out of a camera like this.
Yeah, it makes sense. And they do keep getting better year after year.
And since then, Insta360 has iterated on the concept, improving a bunch of the specs inside the camera without compromising on the size or portability. Every new release is packed with more and more features, with last year's Go 3S being one of my favorite cameras ever. But now, Insta360 has taken the Go series in an all-new direction. This is Go Ultra, and today we're going to show you guys just what it is that makes this camera so special for content creators, vloggers, or really anyone.
Yeah, and I got the chance to use the Go Ultra over the weekend, and you're right, this really is a camera for everyone.
How many iterations
and I cannot wait
can
to
you possibly do of cameras?
This bit right here, this is the standalone camera. It's only 53 grams. And look at the size of it. It's not even the size.
What are you going to put that in? A cup of coffee?
Even though it's tiny, it shoots in super crisp, super smooth, 4K, 60 frames per second. So that's basically Blu-ray quality footage coming from something that fits in your pocket.
And one of my favorite features of it that I was playing with this weekend is that you can attach it to your collar or wherever you want. And then when you're shooting, you can control it all and see it all through this action pod. It's basically how you control everything on the camera.
Yeah,
so
with this
GoPro.
part here,
It's another-
you
it's
get
an-
your
it's a
settings
GoPro.
control, you get remote playback, and a whole lot more back here on the touchscreen. And it's still barely 100 grams.
But Jesse, I think we're being a little bit too gentle with these cameras because the Go Ultras are designed to be used in all kinds of ways that you can't really do with a normal camera or a smartphone. And the main thing is shooting with it hands-free.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've always loved so much about the Go series of cameras is that they're the first cameras designed to capture POV footage, like your actual point of view. See, sometimes you want to get this first person footage, and so you'll take a camera and you'll hold it back really far and you're just getting one arm. It's kind of awkward and weird, or you're jerry rigging odds and ends.
Can't wait until everyone starts walking around with these things on there.
But that's where these accessories come in.
This is the magnet pendant, and like everything else here, it's really light, and this cord that's on it that you put around your neck is really soft and can be adjusted to however long you need it.
On the front of the pendant is a magnet, hence the name, and all you need to do to put the standalone camera on it is this. That's it. And now your camera is stuck on tight, you don't need to hold it or press anything. You just start shooting and you'll get your POV wherever
I wonder
you
how
look.
strong it is if you put it in between like a t-shirt or something, if you move it
Are awesome
around.
for all sorts of things. We find metallic structures all around us, from fridges to light posts to everywhere in the city, right? So if you want to capture a run, you can stick this to a railing and get a really cool shot running by, and then just as easily snap it back onto your chest pendant or your hat and keep going.
So I'm curious, because you're an expert with these cameras and you have all of the models, you know, when I'm using it for running or for cycling or just for going for a hike outside, how do you suggest I and the people like me use it?
Yeah, so I was actually just running 2 days ago with this camera, and I had the hat clip attached to the backwards part of my hat because I had it on backwards.
It's cool like that.
Yeah. What I really like about that, though, is that I can take it off of the clip and I'm able to talk to the camera or get some moments of myself running through the forest. And then in a moment, I can just swing it back around, clip it on, and suddenly I'm hands-free again and I'm back just in the moment.
That's convenient.
This is so easy to use. It's like a smartphone screen, but on the back of an action pod. So you get all the features and settings and everything all just by pressing or swiping.
Yeah, it is a 2.5-inch touchscreen with about.
The question is, can it
900
last
nits of
all
brightness,
day?
Which is
So I'm
great,
talking
not just
about,
for displaying your footage clearly.
you know, 24
but when you're
hours.
using it outside, you'll be able to see all of the buttons on the screen, and you're gonna know exactly what you're interfacing with, even on really sunny days.
I agree, and I especially love.
Like, can
in
this
these
thing
cameras
record
how the
for
back
24
flips open.
hours?
And I think, like, I don't know if it's a girl thing, but being able to see yourself when you're filming is something that I look for in these handheld small cameras that I have.
Okay, so check this out. As Kate is holding the camera, the image is broadcast here on the screen. It's high definition, low latency, so you can see exactly what the camera is pointing at and how it's gonna look raw.
That's actually a good, that's a cool feature.
And it isn't just live either. You can leave the camera wherever it is and check what you've already recorded to make sure you've got your shot. So everything about the Go Ultra feels designed to be as easy and convenient
How far,
as
though?
possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't mind, I'd love to geek out here for a second. A lot of that comes down to what is packed inside this camera. So this is cutting edge tech. And specifically, I want to talk about the sensor in here. So this is a 1/1.28-inch sensor, which is massive for a camera of this size. It's definitely bigger than the one found in the Go 3S. And so being that big, that means it's taking in more light, getting more detail, and just overall better shots.
By the way,
And
everyone,
next
these
to
are the
main
guys
sensor is this
also-
little thing right here. And so this is called an ambient light sensor, and it works alongside the main sensor to make sure that the colors being
Competing
captured
with
have the
VO
right
and
temperature, so
Sora
your footage looks
for AI
vibrant
generation
and
video.
true to life. It also helps when shooting indoors or somewhere with artificial lighting by countering the flickering from that bulb or whatever it is to make sure everything stays smooth and evenly exposed. And finally, inside Go Ultra is Insta360's 5nm AI chip, which is 50 times more powerful than the chip found in the Go 3S. And all of that power goes right into image processing to make sure your photos and videos are richer, sharper, and take full advantage of the advancements in sensor tech.
So that's why I don't even have to edit my shots to make them look good.
Exactly. So not only do they look better, but because of that 5nm AI chip, they're smoother too. Go 3S was capped at 4K 30 FPS, but Go Ultra bumps that up to 60 FPS, which gives everything a more immersive feel. So
That's
even
good.
if you're not
I would have done
running around
120
New York
though.
City like Kate here, maybe you're just making dinner videos at home, those extra frames are gonna ensure that nothing gets muddy or blurry. And this applies to the clarity zoom as well. See, with clarity zoom, you can zoom in 2 times and not lose any of the detail. Unlike other cameras that tend to crop in and just make those pixels bigger, thanks to super sampling, Go Ultra keeps shots really detailed and crisp and in 4K. And going back to what I was just saying about these sensors taking in more light, Insta360 has taken the pure video mode from their Ace and X series cameras, and they've now brought it into Go Ultra. And this mode makes low light footage so much better. It enhances it with AI to remove visual noise and boost the brightness to make sure that when you're filming somewhere like in the city at night or the beach at sunrise or somewhere
Well,
with
this is the
neon
push
lights,
to
it doesn't get underlit
more of the push,
or
POV
overexposed.
push.
Sorry, this is a little bit of a side quest conversation, but Casey Neistat was on my goal list to have on my running interview show ever since I started. I was like the one person I really want to go on a run with. And Casey Neistat said to me, Kate, I will go for a run with you, but there's a few things that you have to know about our run. A, you have to meet me in the middle of the Brooklyn Bridge at 5:30 a.m. to start. And B, you have to keep up with my pace. The pace was no problem. What was the problem was filming at 5:30 a.m. when it was pitch black on the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. And so Casey and I ended up having to run for, I think, around 6 miles before it was finally light enough out to be able to film our video. But now having a camera that can film in those types of settings, this is exactly what I need.
Yeah. And you can do this with photos too.
And do we
Using
have any
Pure
footage of
Shot,
that or
it's going
no?
to apply those same AI algorithms to a still image. And in fact, when taking photos on the Go Ultra, this has 50 megapixels, which means your selfies are going to look really detailed. There's also an automatic HDR mode, which is going to help give you pleasing and balanced images when you're in somewhere with a more complex lighting. There really are so many ways that you can use these cameras, so I'm curious how you've been using them.
Okay, so honestly, I just got my hands on the product this weekend. But the reason Insta360 wanted to involve me in the product launch is because I'm a dedicated runner, and this camera has a lot of features that make it easy to capture content when running, cycling, or really doing any kind of sport in super high quality. So since this weekend, I have been putting the camera to the test, and I'm really impressed so far. The field of view you can get from the Go Ultra is unreal. We mentioned before about being able to get your POV, but this camera gets up to 100.
Did she get any footage though? Because I mean, she's yapping, but I don't see any footage from her.
I love this for a few reasons. I mean, a wider field of view makes things feel faster. It makes things feel more exciting, but it also lets the tech in here stabilize things really, really well without having to crop in so much that you lose that immersive feeling.
Changing topics slightly, another cool thing I noticed while filming is how good the audio is directly from the camera. With a lot of other cameras, you
That's
always
not even
need a
her
separate
running.
microphone to pick up clear sound, especially dialogue, but I didn't need it with the Go Ultra.
Yeah, the Go Ultra has a couple things going on here. So it has a built-in wind guard, but it also has various modes to help cut out those wind sounds. So there's 2 different levels of wind cancellation. And that's really gonna help if you're doing things like cycling or running or making travel vlogs out by the coast. And while it doesn't need a Bluetooth microphone, it is compatible with various ones on the market so that you can get really crisp audio even if the camera's far away. You might think that with all of the upgrades this year that the camera is just gonna be draining battery super fast, but that couldn't be further from the truth. With the all new battery this year, the standalone camera is gonna be able to record for 70 minutes on a single charge. And with that action pod,
That's
you're
it?
gonna get up to 200 minutes. So I'm curious, what does 70 minutes of standalone battery time or 200 minutes with the action pod mean to you?
That's
Like, how
really
many
low.
miles is 200 minutes?
So I would say for me, it's less about how many miles it is, and it's more about like when I am filming, oftentimes I'm filming, 2 videos in a day, 3 videos in a day, and I'm out and about in New York City, like running around from shoot to shoot. So really what's important to me is battery longevity and also having the ability on the go to charge my devices and charge them fast. And what happens when I'm out and about and I need to charge up the camera?
Yeah, that's super fast too. So by putting the standalone camera back into the action pod, you can take that from 0 to 80% battery in just 12 minutes.
But what about storage? Because being able to get 200
Yeah, it's
minutes
still
of high
low, though.
definition
I mean,
footage and
that's really
audio
low battery
must take
life.
up a lot of space.
Sure, but Insta360 has thought of
For a
that as
POV
well.
camera.
On the Go 3S, they only had internal storage options. But now in the Go Ultra, we have support for micro SD cards up to 2 terabytes in size. And look how easy it is to swap a full one for an empty one. Literal seconds. This has a lot of benefits. One of the main ones for me that I like is just how much faster transfer speeds are, but it also means that I can dedicate micro SD cards per project. Or it means that I can buy really inexpensive media that can last for hours and hours and hours. And then just at the end of the day or end of the week or end of the month, ingest that into my computer and then just keep going.
Okay, so one of the features that's gonna make the biggest difference for me personally is the flow state stabilization. I do running interviews, and the way I film them is I film them selfie mode with my smartphone, and then I also have a second cameraman that runs in front of me with an extra camera. And it's really important for that extra camera to be stabilized, right? It's this that makes your footage actually watchable, because nobody wants to watch a running interview that's shaky and rocking around. They want to see something that's smooth and feel like, you know, you're running with them. And of course, you're going to want to share your clips on socials, and to shoot 9:16 for Instagram, all you have to do is twist the camera. That's it. You just turn it sideways and it'll automatically get that vertical aspect ratio.
That's going to be a
whether
tricky
you're
one.
holding it or mounting
Knowing
it.
which side.
When you've got Go Ultra mounted and ready to go, it is super easy to start. See the big button on the standalone cam? Press the big button. With a single tap, you'll start recording, and with another tap, you'll stop. And if you want to take a photo, double tap. When you're in the middle of a run or have the camera mounted, maybe on the handlebars of a bike, maybe on your head, you can capture your highlights in just a second.
Okay, but let's say something really cool happens and you didn't get to that record button in time. Now what do you do?
So Go Ultra has a built-in pre-recording feature that can capture even before you press record. So now when you're out, you don't have to constantly be wondering if you need to be filming. As soon as you see something cool, hit that button and Go Ultra will get it. In fact, Insta360 has made it so easy to record that you don't even need to touch the camera or even take the action pod with you. If you've got an Apple or a Garmin smartwatch, you can link it directly to the camera. Then you can take all of your stats from your smartwatch, like your run times and your cycling speeds, and add that info to your video with a unique stats dashboard. And this is so good for measuring your progress because you can see exactly what you did when out training. On the topic of cycling, Insta360 created this flexi strap mount for Go Ultra so you can get fantastic shots from anywhere on your bike. The elastic strap can wrap around the handlebars, the forks, under the seat, and basically anywhere. And because the camera is so light, it won't affect your speed or balance at all while filming. And just to be extra safe when getting those POVs, they have the quick release safety cord. It can connect to either part of the Go Ultra and then loop around the magnet pendant so you can shoot without worrying about dropping or losing the camera. But don't feel tied down. The quick release mechanism means you can swap the camera out with a simple press of the little button. This handy gadget works in the same sort of way. It's called a pivot stand, and you can stick it anywhere with this sticky base, but then you have this joint on the top that can be bent in all different ways to get the perfect angle. You can
I don't know
check
about that
it on the
sticky
action pod, so
base.
you don't need to set it over and over again. These accessories are so easy to use. I don't know how no one thought of them sooner. And I think what's really cool about these cameras is that it's giving creators the ability to do everything kind of on their own and all in one in this super light device. You know, historically,
Is there a
cameras
cloud
have
maybe
been
you can put all
so
this
heavy
footage?
and clunky and hard to carry around, but I mean, this camera is light and easy to put on your body or put in your pocket. I mean, it's really fun.
Does it have a cloud
So
system?
there are two things we haven't talked about yet, which I absolutely love using. I highly recommend these accessories if you're vlogging or getting footage when traveling. The first are the sticky tabs. There are 10 in the box, and they're like Post-it notes for the Go Ultra. You clip it in and stick it wherever you want, and they're great for getting your POV if you're wearing something too thick for the magnet pendant. But you can stick it to a wall or wherever, and it's like you've got a camera on a rig in seconds. I should also mention that the Go Ultra is waterproof. The Action Pod is IPX4 rated, which means you can use it in the snow and in the rain, no problem.
Cool.
But the standalone camera is fully IPX8 waterproof to 10 meters, which means this also works as a diving cam if you're feeling adventurous.
One question I had for you was, now with the waterproofing, I'm curious, are there any maybe swim athletes that you want to interview in the future?
Okay, there are so many swimmers that I would love to interview, Michael Phelps being number one. I would love to interview a swimmer.
Oh,
I
they
think that'd
couldn't
be
get
so
one
cool.
for
I mean,
the
I'm
event?
such a bad swimmer. Every time I do a triathlon, I feel like I'm drowning.
They should have got. They
But
should have
maybe I
got
could
Phelps to
document
do
that for you
the
guys.
swimming
It'd be
part.
funny to watch. If you're a swimmer out there, hit me up. Let's do it. But I'm curious for you, who is somebody that you would love to collaborate with in a video using this camera, and what activity would you want to do with them?
I actually think I would want to do some like band tour documentary stuff with this. I think you get a lot of really cool angles, both POV from a drummer or on a tour
I feel
bus,
like
that kind of thing.
it's a great event, but they're talking about what they can do and what they missed out on doing.
Cameras are just really
Is it just me, or is that what it sounds like they're saying?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, I really like a lot of metal, and I think big metal concerts just have such interesting production that I would love to see.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool.
And why didn't I don't understand why these guys didn't do it?
And I know that they
Didn't
work
show
with
us the
all
footage.
kinds of athletes, but I just saw that they signed today Pogacar, and he's the winner of the most recent Tour de France.
Oh yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, and when you're creating products to be used by athletes of that caliber, you know their stuff is legit.
So there you have it. While this launch event is coming to a close, your adventures with Go Ultra are just beginning. And it's available now, like right now, on the Insta360 website, on Amazon, and select retailers around the world. So get Go Ultra and get creating.
All right. All right. Let me, I want to check the Insta360 official website. Really quick. I just want to see a little bit more of the specs. Just to get an idea, because I don't think they went over pricing or anything like that, so. All right. Let's go to the official website. By now, let's see this. What are we looking at here? So we got Insta360 Go Ultra. We got the standard bundle. Let's zoom in on that so we could see it. Let me just move it a little bit closer. There we go. We got the standard. Oh, that's not the page. The standard bundle. You could see there, $449. Standard bundle includes the one Go Ultra, one quick release safety cord, one magnetic easy clip, one magnetic pendant. Okay, so that's the standard, which is right here shown in the image. And then there's the creator bundle, which is $499. Endless ways to create. Creator bundle includes the Go Ultra quick release safety cord, the magnetic easy clip, magnetic pendant, quick release mount, mini 2-in-1 tripod, and the pivot stand. And then you have the running bundle, $519, the cycling bundle, $507, the family bundle, $534. Oh man, who did this also in oh yeah, the Roma was they're starting to make all these bundles, like a tremendous amount of bundles. You get two colors, midnight black and Arctic white. You can add a 180 gigabyte micro SD card in it. You get the Insta360 Flexi Care, which is their extended warranty. I'm sorry, the Insta360 Flexi Care is 2 worry-free replacements within a year. And then you can get the extra Insta360 extended warranty for $44, which is a double your warranty for 2 years of protection against quality defects. So interesting. And let me just go back to what was the spec of this camera. So they do have the Insta360 cloud service. I didn't know about this. This was something I was looking forward to seeing, the cloud service. So they do have it. But I wanted to see a little bit more of the specs. Here we go. All right. Let's see. It was 4K, 60 frames per second, as they mentioned. How much did it weigh? Yeah, I forget what he said. Is it here? No. 200 minutes of battery life is very low, I think. I think that's where they should have bumped it. It's kind of low for me. For a camera like that, a POV camera, 200 minutes. It should be way more, because it's a camera that you're putting on your t-shirt or whatever, your hat, and you want to film all day with it. The magnetic stuff is cool. I like that. Got the stabilizer, a low light sensor. It's got the AI powered editing. Everything's going to AI. As we saw yesterday with the Google Pixel 10, everything's becoming AI edited. You don't have to worry about or waste time on editing anymore. And let me see here. Here we go. The future of filmmaking is now. They bumped up the sensor. They bumped up the low light performance. They bumped up the AI computing power and real-time color calibration and flicker prevention, which is awesome. See the low light improvements. They got the 1x and then the 2x clarity zoom, so things are now much more clear. This is probably something to do with the integrated the sensor and probably some sort of digital enhancement. And then you got 50 megapixel photos, HDR photos, live photos. And then the what is it? The action pod, which you can put it in there to recharge and get more battery, but not that much. And then have the screen to view things. You can actually take that little thing and wirelessly get a transmission. So there's the ultra long battery life. I don't know, 70 minutes. And 1080p. 60 minutes on 4K. And then there's also the switching. You can flip the ultra, like, but I feel like this is going to be a problem because people are going to forget which way 916 is and 16:9 is. It's going to be a very confusing part. But and then you got these little stickies, which is interesting. I'd like to see how it would work on clothing. And the whole sport with cycling and running. It is waterproof IPX8. And then you can go down to 10 meters or 33 feet. And then the editing, AI editing, which is it's starting to become a thing for everything, AI editing. And what are these stickers you can put on it? So very interesting stuff. Insta360 coming out with another tiny camera. POV looks like it's the shift. It's the trend right now. POV, everything POV. We're moving to much smaller cameras for point of view. Magnetic, everything clip-on. And AI editing, AI enhancements. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I really like how they did the live event. It was very, very cool, the live event. I think it's something that they should do more of. They should continue doing more live events. Yesterday, what was it? Google Plus did the live event, and it was awesome. It was really, really cool. And now Insta360 also did a live event, meaning like they produce something where they talk about the product and they showcase it, which I think is much more valuable than just throwing a YouTube clip or a YouTube video. And hopefully DJI does the same thing in their next product launch, and they release something really cool. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.